Yes, my dear friend, welcome back to the channel. Beautiful afternoon here in Southeast Asia, Malaysia to be precise. Wherever you are around the globe, especially on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in America, Canada, or right here in Asia with me, ladies and gentlemen, you are highly welcome to this very afternoon edition. Well, I'm not going to take you too long, just to give you some information that you need to know, yes, for your lunch, about your football club, Chelsea. Ladies and gentlemen, just spend about 8 minutes. Don't go anywhere because these are exclusive 8 minutes. Exclusive 8 minutes only. Ladies and gentlemen, highest to be 10 minutes. Well, let's get started quickly. One of our own, our legendary coach, Jose Mourinho, now working with Fenerbahce in Turkey. Yes, Jose Mourinho working with Fenerbahce in Turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been trying very hard with his new club to qualify them for the Champions League group stage. Ladies and gentlemen, but then unfortunately it didn't work out. Fenerbahce are out of the Champions League qualifying stages and Lille go to the next round. Yes, they were knocked out by Lille and Lille now goes to the next round. Jose Mourinho's side lost on 3-2 aggregate. They lost on 3-2 aggregate to Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho's team lost on 3-2 aggregate, and therefore this season Jose Mourinho will not be playing in the Champions League with Fenerbahce. He will have to start and continue to rebuild his team. Next season, he wins the Turkish League, and then he goes to the Champions League. It is what it is, Jose Mourinho. It is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, well, on the flip side of the coin, we are back to the Premier League. We are back to the Premier League. Before I get to Chelsea main news, ladies and gentlemen, you see, Premier League Chief Executive Richard Masters on the Chelsea investigation. Premier League Chief Executive Richard Masters on the Chelsea investigation. Yes, since last season, there were a series of investigations that were being carried out on Chelsea and some other clubs. As a matter of fact, Chelsea, we presented ourselves to them to be investigated. Our owners, the new owners, they found out certain discrepancies in our accounting under the previous regime, under the Roman Abramovich regime. So instead of them to wait for the Premier League to discover those anomalies, Chelsea decided under this new ownership to present those anomalies they found out, those discrepancies they found out. They decided to present it to the Premier League. Now, because they presented it by themselves, the Premier League decided to investigate it. Yes, so the Chief Executive Officer of the Premier League, Richard Masters, speaking on Chelsea's investigation, this is what he has to say. He says, obviously, what we are talking about is something historic. Why is it historic? It is historic because it is Chelsea that presented themselves to be scrutinized. The owners found out that this issue that issue could affect us in the future. So it's better we present ourselves to the Premier League. That is why it is historic. And he continues. He said, it's complicated where we have the club talking to us about things that happened under previous ownership. It is complicated where they have a club talking to them about the things that happened under the previous ownership. He said, all I can say is that the investigation and discussions are reaching a conclusion. But until that happens, ladies and gentlemen, I can't say what's going to happen next. Well, I don't have much time, like I promised you not to take you more than 10 minutes. So let me just make it brief for you. Worst case scenario is that Chelsea will be banned from the transfer market, maybe next season. Next transfer window, we might be banned from going to the market. In fact, if we are to be banned from going to the transfer market next, it has to be 2 windows, usually. In a case like this, it will have to be 2 windows, meaning the winter transfer window and next summer. Yes, if any action be taken against Chelsea at all, this is what is going to happen. And so we don't have so much to worry about, ladies and gentlemen. Currently, as we speak, yeah, you saw the pool of players we have. We have three and a half teams. Chelsea Football Club right now, we can field 3 different teams in the Premier League as it stands. We can field 3 different teams with reserve on a bench, ladies and gentlemen. So even if we are not allowed to buy players next transfer window in January and in the next summer transfer window, we are still good to go, ladies and gentlemen. Once our players return from a loan, we will decide which ones are to stay. And I don't know, listen, you see, I suspect that these our owners, as smart as they are, these Americans, it is one of the reasons why they kept buying and buying and buying. They kept buying because I believe they themselves, they knew or they suspected that they could be, punished. The club could be punished or banned from going to the transfer window next season or next 2 seasons. So they decided to use the opportunity they have now with the loopholes available to buy more players. That is what I suspect, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it is a good idea. If this is what they foresee in the future coming, then they are doing the right thing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. All right, quickly. Now back to our transfer news for the day. It is still quite early in Europe and in UK. So there's not much on Victor Osimehn front. There's not much on Conor Gallagher or Joao Felix. But right now as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, it's in the hot hours. Another thing, it is actually hot right now with the club Chelsea. With Victor Osimhen, Romelu Lukaku, Joao Felix. We are talking about Napoli, a difficult club to deal with. And we are also talking here about Atletico Madrid. Ladies and gentlemen, dealing with Chelsea and its American owners. It is true. Our owners have given a green light for Victor Osimhen to be signed. The technical team, that's the coaches, they've given a green light for the player to be signed. But having an agreement with Atletico Madrid right now is where the challenge is. George Mendes is in London. Some say that the operation of Conor Gallagher and Joao Felix can be separated. But George Mendes is in London right now working on Joao Felix deal. Now, Napoli president, De Laurentiis is also in London working on Romelu Lukaku deal. So you can see our sporting directors and our owners at Bali, they are very busy. They have been busy the past few days. Yes. But you see, as I said yesterday, Chelsea wanted to pay for Joao Felix the same amount they were to pay for Osimhen. That is 42 million pounds. 42 million euros. And Atleti told them that Joao Felix is 60 million, not 42. And now Chelsea are thinking about it. A good source actually gave us a hint that in the next hours, in the next 20 to 48 hours, Chelsea is actually studying to make an offer that could reach 50 million euros between fixed and variables. Between fixed and variables in order to secure Joao Felix. Now, Joao Felix deal hinges on Conor Gallagher. If Joao Felix deal is not signed or it didn't go through, that would simply means that Conor Gallagher is staying put at Chelsea. That would mean that Gallagher, if no other club comes in for him, he's going to sign a new deal with Chelsea on £150,000 per week, 2 years plus option of additional year. Yes. Currently, as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, today, this morning, Conor Gallagher will be at Cobham training with the under-21, the reserve team. It is what it is. At the moment, the two clubs are still working. A lot of silence this morning. Yes. And that is usually good. When you get to this stage and there's so much silence, no news coming out to the journalist, to the insider, no news coming out, it is very good for transfer business. Miguel Angel Gil Marin, Athletic, is still personally handling the matter to close the operation as soon as possible. Yes, Miguel Angel Gil Marin is the one in charge of negotiations for Atletico Madrid, and he is still personally handling the matter to close the operation with Joao Felix and Conor Gallagher as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, on the other hand, Romelu Lukaku earns an eye-watering £325,000 per week at Chelsea. Yes, and Chelsea are willing to offer, if not the same at all, similar range of salary for Victor Osimhen in order to secure his arrival at Stamford Bridge. Ladies and gentlemen, so Chelsea have no problem with Victor Osimhen's wages. Agreement already in place for 5 years contract for Victor Osimhen to Chelsea. Everything has been agreed on. 80% image right for Victor Osimhen as well. So there is no issue whatsoever with Chelsea and Victor Osimhen right now. What is delaying the deal now is what? The two clubs. The two clubs, yes. That is Napoli decision to make sure they get the last cent out of the deal. Well, but we understand. We understand that that deal is almost done. That deal is almost done. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Osimhen to Chelsea in the next hours as well. And I'm hopeful that Victor Osimhen could be announced and officially unveiled during our match or our game against Man City next Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, all right. You see, Chelsea would also like to extend Nic Jackson's contract by another 2 years and reward him for his impressive first season at the club. Negotiations likely to take place in due course, according to Matt Law. Similar thing that was done to Cole Palmer yesterday. Yes, Chelsea decided to reward Nic Jackson as well for his impressive performance. Listen, this tells you a lot. This tells me a lot. Indeed, Nic Jackson, if anyone think he didn't perform above average last season, maybe the person doesn't know football, to come into the Premier League and to do what he did last season under Mourinho Pochettino, I kept saying it and I will continue to say it. Many have said that, oh, I like Nic Jackson too much. Yes, I appreciate good things. I appreciate his efforts. Now the club wants to reward him by extending his contract to another 2 years with an increase in wages, ladies and gentlemen, just as it was done to Cole Palmer yesterday. All right? And like I said, quickly before I let you go, Chelsea's decision makers have given a green light for Victor Osimhen's move. Let me end it here. I'll be back later in the night with explosives and exclusives for you. Big shout out to you guys all out there on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in America, and here in Southeast Asia. I love you all. I'll see you guys in the next one when you see me, dear friends. Shalom and peace.